Warning. This podcast episode contains swearing, drinking. Oh shit. That's it. Yeah. Enjoy the episode.
Hello and welcome to Demons and Bellinis, the podcast where we whip up a drink and talk about some spooky shit. This is the second time we're doing this because we messed up.
Don't say
10
this
minutes
is the
worth
second time.
Well, you're cackling. You're cackling. Everyone will know. Or they're just like, what the is wrong with Ashley?
People already think that.
I'm a cursed doll at an antique store. I'm Molly.
And I apparently have a lot of problems, Ashley.
Today we will be discussing the case of the Tallman family from Horace,, Wisconsin. So grab a beverage of your choosing, get cozy, and check your closet for your childhood Santa wish list. And remember, stay peachy. So, today we'll be covering the case of the Tallman family, like I said, which I personally found really fascinating when I stumbled upon a video that Haley Reese did on the case. But apparently the case was made semi-famous when it was covered by Unsolved Mysteries back in the 90s, in its third ever episode, premiering on October 26th of 1988. However, I wasn't able to actually find the original episode because apparently they're all, not on the internet. Apparently you can only find it from, a out-of-print DVD, so couldn't find that.
Out-of-print DVD?
Well, that's what the website said. Out of production.
Out-of-print DVD?
It said out of print. I remember that very clearly.
DVDs are not printed.
Leave me alone. Leave that website alone, because I'm not going to take credit for that. That's what the website said.
I'm going to go to that website and be like, you f***ing idiot. That wasn't even that funny.
No, your laugh was making me laugh. I haven't heard that kind of laugh from you before. I'm stopping. So, originally we were going to name the people in this case, but Ashley vetoed that. So, if you just hear me talking about a brother, a sister, a baby.
The baby's name is Ryan Gosling.
Okay, I will write that down. I had a whole space for writing this down, and then you totally vetoed it.
This is gonna take 10 minutes trying to think of names.
That's fair.
Baby's named Ryan Gosling, brother is named Butt, and sister is named Boob.
Boob. Okay. Do we have a name for a kitten?
Cat.
A babysitter?
Sitter.
A dog?
Cat. 2.
A nephew?
Uncle.
Okay. That's our cast of
You're not
characters.
actually gonna use those names, are you?
You bet your ass I am. So, our cast of characters, we have a father named Alan, or a mother named Deborah.
We want to apologize in advance to this family. This is just what happens when we aren't provided names. We come up with names for ourselves.
I mean, the children are known as for, pretty fair reasons.
Yeah.
And also, they just didn't provide a name for their cat or their dog, which I think is very rude of them.
But is it relevant?
No, but I just wanted to name them. So, before we get into this case, there are a couple different ways that we can view this story. Either the house itself was haunted, or a particular cursed object was brought into the house, and that's what brought it on.
Bellinis!
I'm not entirely sure which stance I take, so I'm going to just compile a few stories that I've heard on the interwebs, but it is worth noting that Unsolved Mysteries and the general paranormal community widely accept the cursed object theory.
Okay.
So the timeline that we have here is that the Tallmans moved into their house in 1986, in an unnumbered house on Larrabee Street. Alan at the time was a factory worker, and Deborah was pregnant with her third child. What do we name?
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling.
How could you forget that?
I'm sorry. At the time, their younger
Anyone
daughter...
who's about to have a child, no matter the gender, please name your child Ryan Gosling. That's their full first name.
Yes. Ryan Gosling Tallman.
Shut the up.
Their youngest daughter, Boob Tallman, was about 2 years old at the time.
Okay, we can't use these names because I'm just gonna laugh the whole time. I'm not gonna take this seriously. Just please.
Fine.
I said we can't use names because I'm just gonna laugh at them the whole time. Please don't ever let me name a child in the future. Just don't let me name a kid.
Their younger daughter, alias Boob, was about 2 years old, and their son was almost 7. And was a child that the mother had during her previous relationship. It's not relevant to the story. It was just a note that they had.
Saucy and spicy.
Saucy.
No, I'm kidding.
When they first moved in, the children tended to fall frequently ill, and there were a few disputes between Deborah and Alan. When their third child, Ryan Gosling, was born during the following November. Fine, I'll stop naming them.
I can't do it, man.
Following the pregnancy, Deborah fell rather ill, meaning that Deborah's mother and her sister came over to the house kind of regularly to, like, help out. But both of them noted that the house had, like, kind of a weird energy to it. And soon after, Deborah's sister fell ill as well. But, like, that's just, like, getting sick and stuff. That's not, like,
you could also attribute that to, like, mold in the walls or something like that.
Exactly.
That's not necessarily paranormal. It's mostly, like, or it could be, like, that one story I read on the live stream where it's carbon monoxide poisoning.
Right, yeah.
Right? So it's, like, check your house before you say it's ghosts.
Mm-hmm,
check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yeah, this is, like, all the stuff that happens before the cursed object thing. So that's, like, just stuff that I found worth.
They could go towards, like, oh, the house is already haunted, but also just sounds like you got mold.
Yeah, and, like, people fight, kids get sick. Mm-hmm. The Tallmans also adopted a little kitty cat who frequently acted in rather, like, peculiar ways.
But what cat acts normal? Is there any set behavior for a cat?
That's true. At sunset, typically the cat would run across the living room and climb up the door.
That's what my cat does.
Yeah. Good old
Legit,
Charlie.
that's what my cat does.
Alan tried to shut the cat in the bathroom, but then, like, the cat soon started to whine, and upon being let out, it would climb up the plaster of the wall in the living room. Due to the cat's misbehavior, they were set back up for adoption.
No!
I'm sorry, this cat that we named Cat was not very good.
I would adopt that cat. That's bullshit.
Mm.
If you aren't willing to accept the odd behavior of your cat, you are not ready for a cat.
Nope.
If you aren't ready to accept that your cat will probably be an asshole, and that you have to learn how to love your cat in a certain way on boundaries that it accepts, you're not ready for a cat.
Yeah, Charlie's an asshole, but I love him.
Yeah, like, literally everything that... Charlie's affection is on his own terms. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if he's grouchy, don't leave him alone.
Yeah.
But if he wants to cuddle, then he will come and find you.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Like, every time I come over to your house, or not every time, but, like, sometimes he'll just kind of crawl up onto my chest and just, like, headbutt me, and it's great.
So it's like, you have to... Like,
and I'm like, I've been chosen by the Charlie.
Yeah, so it's like, if you weren't ready for that kind of, like, have a pet like that, where it's like, you just kind of let it be, and... Yeah. Or, like... You have to learn your cat's behavior, so it's like, if you aren't ready for that, get a dog, moron. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. I didn't mean that so aggressively. I was just, people, like, don't understand cats.
It makes me very upset, yeah. When people, like, do the whole thing, like, oh, it's the same thing
cats
with, like...
Cats are just assholes.
It's the same thing with kids,
you don't know your cat, yeah.
When you have, like, a problematic kid, I say with cone quotes, and you're like, oh, we didn't ask for this.
Yeah, you did.
You did.
You got pregnant, idiot. You signed up for whatever that kid was going to have. And whatever that kid was going to do, you signed up for it.
Yeah, exactly. Loving your child unconditionally is very important as a parent, but, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But go off, I guess.
Weird flex, but okay.
Yeah, so...
I know what kind of person you are now.
Yeah. The Tallman's babysitter also reported that one night when they were looking after the children, they, along with the son of the family, witnessed a chair rocking by itself. And so that's pretty much all we have before the cursed object comes in. Weird. Yeah. So...
Rocking chairs are just cursed. I'm sorry. Like, doesn't matter where, like, what kind of rocking chair it is. Mm-hmm. Even those ones from IKEA, they're all cursed. You're just asking for
We have, like, a 100-year-old rocking chair downstairs in my mom's bedroom.
Why?
Or my mom's, like, a little, like, study area.
Why?
It belonged to her great-grandmother. But I remember when I was, like, a kid looking at it in my grandma's house, I would always be like, oh, no.
Yeah, like, if you buy a rocking chair, you're never going to sit in it, and it's always going to have a ghost in it. That's the real tea. If it fits, it sits. So, because we haven't really...
defined a curse since our 3rd episode. I'm just going to quickly go over it again. The Oxford Dictionary defines a curse as a solemn utterance intended to invoke a supernatural power to inflict harm or punishment onto someone or something.
What if I say you?
Well, there's that whole, like, a comic that, what was his name? Adam Tots, the guy who did the whole Dear David thing. Mm-hmm. He has that comic that's just like, 100 years ago it said that a witch cursed this house. Yo, this house.
Well, it's kind of like saying you can be kind of like a curse. Yeah, it can be a curse. So it's like, where it's like, you just kind of like, you're so mad at, like, if you're mad at somebody and you're like, you typically mean like, hate you, mm-hmm. right?
Yep.
Or you could be like, oh, you. That actually really hurt.
Oh, I'm sorry. Back when I was doing the research for that episode, I also reached out to the witchy community, and they defined it as baneful magic. That came from Olive. A spell with the intention of physically harming someone, even killing them. That came from Serafina. And then Sloane Hedge defined that, like, she thinks that it's important to distinguish between a hex, a jinx, and a curse, because those things are often confused with one another. A jinx is causing small annoyances to plague someone.
Like Jinx Monsoon.
Jinx Monsoon. I love Jinx Monsoon.
I'm kidding.
A hex is similar to a jinx, but then the bad luck tends to last longer and is usually aimed at teaching someone a lesson. So, like, once they learn the lesson or give the caster what they want, the bad luck will stop. And a curse is, like, a darker and longer lasting kind of spell. So it's, like, it can cause extreme harm or, like, can go on for, like, practically indefinite. And so when it comes to cursed objects, personally, I would say that they are either created through physically casting a spell on an object. But, like with witchcraft in general, like, all the spell casting and ritualistic stuff is just to aid with intentions. Intention is the key to any spell. Yeah. So if enough negative energy is placed within something or sent towards someone, a curse can easily be placed, which is what you were just saying with saying, like, you. Yeah. Like, if you're sending enough bad energy to someone, that can kind of be considered a curse. And so I just wanted to get that all out of the way, just because, you know, it never hurts to define a curse.
So, like, in this story, are we talking specifically about cursed objects, or is this a haunted object?
I believe that this would kind of fall under a haunted object.
Okay, so it's not necessarily cursed then.
Yeah, but that's what everyone needs to define it as. Yeah, cursed object.
Because a haunted object is more of just, like, potentially possessed by a spirit.
Yeah.
And, like, most common example is dolls, but it can also be an attachment to an object. Like, say, a woman in 1850 had a ring that she loved a lot, and then she dies suddenly. Her spirit could then be attached to that ring. So wherever that ring goes, her spirit goes. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And it ends up at Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum.
But this cursed or haunted object is kind of an interesting one. I haven't seen anything like this before. So in February of 1987, Alan and Deborah purchased children's bunk beds at a secondhand store. And this is where most people tend to cite this haunting early beginning.
There are just some things you should never buy at a thrift store. And those include underwear, bathing suits, mattresses, and hats. All of them are because of bugs.
Bugs
Bacteria,
are the real curse.
Lice. Or stuffed animals too. Mm-hmm. Just, it's gross. There's too much skin bacteria in those things. Ooh. So yeah, never.
The way you say skin.
Skin bacteria. So yeah, those are my list of things that my mother passed down to me to never buy at a thrift store. And this one is one of them. Wait, was it the frame or is it the mattress?
It's the frame.
So the mattresses weren't included.
The mattresses were not included.
Okay.
It was actually disassembled.
Okay, that's not quite that cursed then.
Yeah.
Or like not my list of cursed items from a thrift store.
Yeah. I actually had this game with my one friend because if you're local, Fort Langley has this really cool I think it's called like the Antique Mall almost, where it's just like this like entire like little warehouse just filled to the brim with like these like little like it's almost like a maze of like all this like vintage stuff. There's like some like stuff from like the 1850s from London, but then there's also vintage copy of Shrek on VHS. It's great. And whenever I go there with my friends, we always try to pick out the things that are the most haunted.
Shrek on VHS.
Shrek on VHS, yeah.
Cursed.
There's like...
Did I tell you? So I live near the mall, and every year there's a fair that comes by the mall and is in the mall parking lot for 2 weeks. Because there's no fairgrounds near where we live, so it's just the parking lot. And so the therapy opened pretty late. So one Tuesday night it was open, and it was 9:30 at night. My window's open. I'm trying to go to bed, and all I hear is, and they don't stop coming, and they don't coming. Hey, now you're an all-star, and you can't go play. Just like it's like half a kilometer away from my building, and I just hear drifting through the wind into my window. All-star.
I used to live by this middle school, and they used to blast music during the Terry Fox run. And this one year, I was very sick on the Terry Fox run, so I was at home, and I just hear in the distance. And mind you, I lived maybe 2 kilometers away from this middle school.
Oh my god!
It's the final countdown. And I was like, oh shit, they're coming.
It sounded like legit though when I was like trying to go to bed, and then I'm like woken up by All Star. It sounded scary.
Somebody wants
like all I hear is just like, and they don't stop coming. And I'm like, what doesn't stop coming? Who's coming?
They.
Who's they?
They.
Satan.
Satin.
Oh, Satan.
I bet that Satan wears silk pajamas.
I bet you he smokes weed.
Probably. Same as Jesus.
Okay, me and my Catholic mom, both of us grew up very Catholic. My mom's still a little bit Catholic. And tomorrow's 420. And and me and my mom, we start joking about 420 being on Easter weekend, because it's Good Friday that we're recording it on today. And I'm like, Jesus probably smoked weed. Or he at least looks like he smoked weed. And my mom just turns and looks at me, and I'm like, crap, she's probably gonna tell me that what I just said was blasphemous. And she goes, yeah. He looks like he smokes weed.
He's a goddamn hippie. I love him. Jesus from the Bible is tight. I like him.
We're sorry to anyone who takes that as blasphemy. I'm sorry.
Listen,
my mom
if there's someone who's very concerned with blasphemy, then they should not be listening to this podcast.
Right, yeah.
I'm just gonna put that out there.
But like, my mom has yelled blasphemy at me so many times. It's so funny. There was one time, I can't remember what I said, but she was like, Ashley, that's blasphemous.
That's blasphemous.
I'm like, my whole existence is blasphemy, Mom.
Your best friend is literally a practicing witch.
Yeah. I have, like, a ghost tattooed onto my arm, and also the Sacred Heart. Like, I'm pretty sure that's, like, a little bit of blasphemy.
Who knows?
All of my tattoos except for my sunflower, feel a little bit blasphemous. At least I don't have a full-on demon like some people do. No, that's, like, hardcore.
That would be fun.
Like, if I wasn't trying to get a job, either as a public school teacher, or maybe if I do get a job as an archivist, I might get a demon tattoo. But, like, I don't want anything gruesome, you know what I mean?
Sorry?
I literally just said, I don't want anything gruesome. Like, if I were to get, like, a somewhat demon-y tattoo, I wouldn't want anything gruesome. But I would get, like, Black Phillip.
Black Phillip is cool.
I love Black Phillip. What does thou like to live deliciously? Hits the blood. Hits blood. What does thou like to live? No.
We have gone way off the rails.
Wait, I got it. Hits blood. Yo, what is it like to live deliciously?
In the February of 87, Ellen and Deborah purchased children's bunk beds at a secondhand store, which is where most people cite this haunting really beginning. How did we get there?
Can I just ask, how did we get from child bunk beds to Hits Blunt? What is it like to live deliciously?
Because we talked about antique stores, we talked about Shrek, we talked about your mom, and then we talked about blasphemy.
This is a long trail, guys.
This is a long, rocky, hard trail.
Oh, it's hard.
It's hard. Blasphemy!
Just so you guys know, our next 2 episodes are going to be known as the horny episodes at this rate.
The horny season.
Wait.
It's horny season, baby.
Alright, can we please get back on track?
Yeah. So, Deborah and Alan put the bunk bed into the shared room between the baby and the sister. in the May of that year after assembling and storing it in the basement. Personally, I find this kind of weird because if we're assuming the ages are correct from what this one website said, the child is 2 and this other baby is 7 months old. Why are they in bunk beds? I don't personally understand that, but whatever.
That is a bit, like, 'cause don't babies need to, like, be in a proper crib until they're at least, like...
Yeah, when I babysat kids, like,
Though, but then again, this was also the 80s.
That's true. But, like...
They didn't have his seatbelts.
But, like, 7 months old. That's, like, barely half a year. Young. That's very young. But yeah, no, I don't know why someone would put their baby in a bunk bed, but that's just me. That night, the son noticed that his radio alarm clock was acting strangely. The dial was moving by itself. However, even after moving it from his room, he was still kept up at night by strange noises from, like, the other room.
Ew.
As the months went on, the children found it increasingly hard to sleep. The occurrences were rather sporadic, meaning that they would have, like, few days of calm before other events. First, the sister gained an imaginary friend. With whom she would talk to before the friend began to torment her in her sleep. There's something very inherently creepy about imaginary friends, but then that's also such a natural part of childhood.
Yeah, like, imaginary friends, I think, are super cool. And, like, a lot of us, I think, can relate to having one.
Yeah.
Right? Or, like, even just having ourselves be an imaginary friend. Because it can be really hard, like, when you're young and, like, learning how to socialize and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But, like, when it gets to this, like, there are certain points, though, when it's, like...
like, if you take Robert the doll, for example.
Yeah, or, like, if the kid is creating something that's super, 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 super detailed, that it almost sounds like a real person. I hate to sound like horror movie cliche, where it's like, oh, this kid's, like, my imaginary friend's right here. And then, like, or, like, this sounds like, it sounds more of, like, an actual entity than an imaginary friend. Because, like, it gets to a certain point, and then after that point, you start thinking, like, oh, crap, oh, there's actually a ghost talking to my kid. Because I do believe that kids are more in tune with the paranormal than adults
they totally are. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As are pets.
My cat staring at the ceiling, I would rather take a kid's opinion over my cat staring at the ceiling. Because I had no idea he doesn't know what light is and how light works, so I'm not gonna... No.
Charlie's a dumbass and I love him.
He doesn't... My cat staring like this at the ceiling, that's not proof of the paranormal, no. Sorry.
The parents also experienced a few oddities. Besides being tired from being constantly awoken by their children.
Yeah, that would do it.
That would do it. Alan was painting in the basement one day and left his brush on the painting tray when he went upstairs for lunch. When he came back, the paintbrush was upside down in the bucket. While Alan dismissed this as from being like anything unusual.
Wait, upside down on the bucket?
In the bucket.
In the bucket.
In the bucket.
So like the handle was in the bucket?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Kind of weird.
That's inconvenient.
That's very inconvenient.
Like, oh, idiot, you can't use this brush nail,
While he dismissed this from being anything paranormal, because, like, sometimes if you just, like, leave something and you're like, oh, that's f***ing weird, he did mention that he spotted a shadowy figure in the basement. Throughout this period, Deborah also began to suffer from nightmares along with her daughter, which she had, like, not really suffered from before, and noticed that the garage door would open itself every once in a while. Throughout this period, Deborah and Alan also tended to get into disputes, which...
Yeah, well, I mean, we saw them doing that before. It seems like just, like, the stress of this would have added to tensions that were already present.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It doesn't, like...
It doesn't inherently mean that there's...
Yeah, it doesn't inherently mean that there's an impression or something like that.
Yeah.
Because, like, oppression and then possession.
Yeah.
I think there's a stage in between. I can't remember exactly. But oppression is when you have a demonic entity present in in this case, a home. Mm-hmm. And if you start, it makes you feel depressed, nightmares, angry, aggressive, thinking dark thoughts, thinking possibly suicidal thoughts, thinking of acting violence upon other people. Mm-hmm. That typically is an oppression, which is like the entity trying to get a hold over you and trying to get control over you. And then possession, everybody knows what that is, where you have a full-blown
demon controlling you.
Yeah, so, like, oppression's always the warning signs. If you start feeling those things, you should probably get a priest or someone who you think could be able to clear your home.
Yeah, but then that's also not, like, a telltale sign of, like, haunting.
Yeah.
That can just be, like, hey, you need to maybe go see a therapist.
Yeah. It's, like, literally any time that you feel like you're having dark thoughts, whether towards yourself or to other people, you might want to talk to somebody.
Yeah. Another time, a window from the basement was removed and found on the floor. No valuables were taken.
I don't like this window.
There was anything displaced, ruling out what could have been a break-in. Like there wasn't even like a chair under the basement window that they could have climbed down on. It was just straight up out of the frame on the floor.
Demons are dumbasses. Like Satan, you got a couple of dumbasses. I'm sorry, but stupid ass motherfucker. I'm gonna move this window.
Pranked.
What was your plan? What was it?
I just want to bring him out. Just like yeet. Don't even yeet. Just like
or
casual.
or like a shadow figure just standing in your room, like. That's what I think about, like a shadow figure. It's just like you know how like
we should do an episode on shadow people.
Yeah, but you know how like for those of you like Minecraft people, you know how Endermen walk?
Yeah.
But like they're like, that's how whenever I think of shadow people, I always think of Endermen. So they're standing there, maybe they're holding like a block of shit they stole from you, and then,
a window, a whole ass window,
and then they see you staring at them, and they're like.
So yeah, they were just kind of like, what the f***? But after that, the family purchased a dog for security, who also acted strangely but remained with the family. So they get a pet now, which is great.
These people are dog people.
Yeah, they're dog people.
Off.
Yeah. However, Deborah stayed away from the basement after that because she was just kind of freaked out by that. Later that year, when Ellen became sick with a sinus infection, he went to the hospital for treatment.
It honestly sounds like they have a ghost and mold.
Yeah. His mother came by to look after the children. Much like Deborah's family, she was not terribly fond of the house. She got weird feelings from it. After putting the children to bed, she fell asleep in the living room, on the living room couch. And while she was in a state of dozing / being like awake, which is like an interesting state, she saw red eyes gazing at her from the window. Not great.
Can I be honest though? Couches are liminal space.
Couches and being half asleep, half awake are very much liminal spaces.
Yeah, but like couches, like when people have already like people go to bed and like it's just like an empty living room, then it becomes liminal space, and yeah. I don't like that. But then that goes back to the window again, which almost makes you think that like perhaps the window was a sort of portal.
It was a different window. Living room window versus the window.
Well, like windows can like. Still trying to go with my window thing here because I feel like it's a hot, spicy take. But like windows are a portal if you think about it.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like whether you take that literally or
as our mirrors.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, possibly these entities are using the windows, which would explain why the window was moved.
Yeah.
As like kind of a portal to get in and out.
Yeah, because actually, like, not exactly window, but a common practice to actually get scrying mirrors for witches is taking like an empty picture frame and just painting the glass black on the backside.
Yeah.
And that's how you get like a very clear surface, and then you can kind of get into a meditative state, and that's how you can scry. Scrying is a very interesting thing. I've never been very successful with it.
I feel like because how that works is how you're supposed to see things in the mirror, right?
You're supposed to, it opens up your mind in a way, I believe, into images, and like you're kind of in like a very hypnotic state.
So do you see things in the mirror or no?
You don't see things in the mirror, you just picture things in your mind.
Oh.
And it's a way of kind of clearing your mind.
Okay, because I've heard from like other people where it's like if you like with like haunted mirrors or something like that, like you're supposed to see things in the mirror around you.
That's also, I've heard of that happening as well, but that's just like from my very spotty knowledge of scrying.
Yeah.
Because I have scrying stuff in my room. I just can't, I've just never been very successful with using it.
Or like some people, like I remember there's this one building, I can't remember where it is, but there was like a scrying room. It was like this tiny, like maybe about as wide as your desk, and they just had the chair and then the mirror, and then you would close the door and it'd be like almost complete darkness or something like that, with just the light on the mirror.
Right, yeah. Because with scrying, you have to have like a candle there to provide some sort of light, and you can see like flickering stuff.
Weird. I just feel like if I ever see something in a mirror like around me, I would just lose my shit.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I could do scrying because it would just terrify the shit out of me. Yeah.
The thing that's kind of why I haven't been very successful with it, just kind of creeps me out, but one day maybe. I'll let you know how that goes. That, like around Christmas, that Christmas season, the son witnessed the apparition of an old woman in the living room, which, interestingly, resembled the imaginary friend his sister had been having nightmares about. The lady was small, had long black hair, and had red eyes which glowed like fire.
Dream girl, am I right, ladies?
And she was also described by the children as a witch, so.
Ooh.
Yeah. After this, he woke up his parents and begged them to, like, leave the house. He was like, I don't want to stay here anymore. I don't like this house.
Valid.
Very valid.
I mean, if I saw a ghost in my house, too, I'd be like, you know what? This is your house now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you the mortgage, and I'll see you later.
Yeah. After this, the Tallmans called in their local pastor, Reverend Wayne Dobraz, who believed that the family was cursed by the devil. After cleansing... He was actually like... he was literally like, oh yeah, this feels like the devil. Have you guys been using any Ouija boards? He actually asked them if they'd been using the Ouija boards. And they're like, have you been attending church regularly?
Have you been flossing regularly? An apple a day.
This is happening because you don't go to church every Sunday. You're bleeding because you don't go to church every Sunday.
You get demons in your house because you didn't floss. Could you imagine that if you're like, your dentist was legit like, you're gonna get demons if you don't floss?
Me as a dentist.
You're gonna get demons if you don't floss? I want that as a bumper sticker. I don't even drive. You're gonna get demons. Ugh. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just chewing my tapioca.
So, did they floss?
They did say whether they flossed or not. But the children are also 1, 2.5, maybe 3, and 7.
You want to get flossing early.
That's true.
That's when you get the most cavities, because you're eating like shit.
I don't think I flossed when I was like a tiny child, because
I didn't either.
Children's teeth are very frightening to me.
Children have 2 sets of teeth if you think about it.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Let's move on.
Hey, for anyone who's feeling up to it, Google hyperdontia.
No. So after...
If you don't like a lot of teeth in places that teeth shouldn't be in your mouth, don't Google it.
I don't like the idea of that.
Yeah.
I don't.
If I was upset by that image in middle school, you guys have to be too.
I mean, yeah. After cleansing the house, he instructed the family to play religious music, pray, and attend church regularly, which they weren't doing. Religious music, yeah. You know what I'm thinking of?
That Trisha Payeta's song. I love Jesus. I love Jesus.
He's got the whole world. Imagine that. This makes this so much more terrifying. Just imagining the rest of this case with just a distorted, muffled, he's got the whole world in his hands just playing in the background. Get off of YouTube! No. Get off of YouTube! No. We're gonna get copyrighted. Do you really want to get copyrighted by the religious people?
Oh shit, no. There's an ad. It won't let me skip. Got it.
Yeah. If it doesn't get included, Ashley was playing, what's her name? Trisha
Payeta's I Love Jesus.
Yeah, just imagine that playing in the background. Very softly, slightly distorted, perhaps. You cough so gross.
Your neighbors are gonna complain.
So, the cleansing worked for a few weeks, until the son who had been sleeping in the living room, after being terrified of his bedroom, saw the apparition of the woman once more.
If I was this woman and I heard that song playing on repeat, I'd be like, yeah, screw this place. These people have zero taste in music.
At this point, the children were so frightened that they hated to stray anywhere from the parents' side. Alan became so angry with the spirits that he yelled at them to get out of his house, and if they wanted to pick on someone, then to pick on him. And not his children.
That was a mistake, wasn't it?
That was a mistake, and it would seem that the spirits listened.
What's that? What's that old 2013 memes where it's like challenge accepted?
Oh, shut the heck up.
Why you mad?
You know why I am upset, Ashley. Don't even pretend that you don't
The ghost of like
a ghost of a 13-year-old from 2013. Was that it? No, that wasn't even 2013. That was more like 2010.
Yeah.
No, oh god. No, 2011, 2012.
The dad gets mad and the ghost is like trolled.
Yeah, where are more recent ghosts? I would like to see a haunting from a 13-year-old boy from 2011.
But then that means that the 13-year-old boy had to die in 2011.
That'd make me also a bit sad. Anyways, during either the February or January of 1988, after Alan came home from a night shift, he heard a strange voice from the garage telling him to, quote, "Come here."
Bitch, don't go there.
Along with a pair of red eyes glowing from the darkness from the garage window.
Let me guess. He goes into the garage.
He went over to investigate,
Dumbass!
And the entire garage was lit ablaze with fire. However, upon running into the house to put out the fire, Alan discovered that the garage appeared to be normal, with no evidence of the fire having taken place.
Oh, so it's like a hallucination?
Yeah.
Oh,
however, he then saw his lunchbox, which he had in the car, placed on the floor, which was then yeeted across the room.
Can you just say thrown across the room?
It shot across the room. Needless to say, Alan was terrified.
Yeah. I only say that because yeet is just meant to be yeet, and it just sounds cursed when you say yeeted.
Yeeton. It was yote across the room.
Yeeted sounds like some kind of, like, disease.
Yeet.
Sir, I hate to break it to you, but you have a bad case of the yeeted. Boss, I can't come into work today. I got a bad case of the yeets.
Can't come into work today. I'm feeling too gay. You used to be able to call into work because you were feeling gay.
Molly,
because it was seen as a sickness.
This is why people don't want us to have rights. That was a bad joke, I'm sorry!
Sorry, boss, I can't come into work today. I'm feeling really gay. I saw a titty.
I'm sorry if that was a bad
It's okay.
joke.
It's okay. We were just talking about how jokes should always be told if they're bad under the explicit...
Sluts don't have rights, Molly.
You should always be able to clarify that you're joking, or else people might take it seriously.
Was I joking?
I don't know.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, she was. So another night, while Alan was sleeping in his daughter's room as they slept, because he was keeping them company for, they were scared.
Yeah.
Alan witnessed the misty apparition rise over him and whisper, "You are dead."
Yeah.
Alan was so terrified by this that he could do little but cry. So scared that his lips were reportedly tinged blue.
Ew.
That night, Deborah called the Reverend, who told him to leave the house and stay with the family. The following night, after playing religious music for the majority of the day in their home,
my God.
Alan's nephew came over to look after the children while Alan went on a night shift. And then the nephew also witnessed the same apparition. Following this, Deborah brought the children to Alan's work, refusing to stay in the house alone.
Yeah.
After this, the family went to the police chief, Doug Glaman.
What are the police gonna do? Arrest the ghost?
Yes.
You're under arrest for being demons.
The comedy police, the joke's too funny. I'm not going back to jail! So Doug was very convinced by this story.
Do you think that there's a demon jail? Where Satan's like, you've been a bad demon, you're going to jail. Get in the box.
Get in the box.
You're going to gay baby jail.
My entire life is gay baby jail.
I'm still haunted by my friend coming up to me almost every single day in grade 10 and being like, Ashley, you're going to gay baby jail. Is this gay baby jail?
Yep. This is a cursed place.
I'm in gay baby jail.
And Doug was pretty convinced by their story because, they stuck very heavily to it, and, there weren't any, discrepancies, but he clearly, I don't know, he believed them.
Okay. I guess that's a good thing in this case.
Yeah. The press soon got a hold of this story, and reportedly, Larrabee Street had to be roadblocked due to the number of news trucks and citizens that tried to get to the home.
It's like, what did I tell you? Deborah, you have to go to the haunted house and see what the I'm talking about.
Deborah.
Remember from our second episode?
No, it wasn't Deborah. It was,
Was it not Deborah?
No, because Deborah's the name of the... What was it?
I
don't think it was Deborah.
I need to go back. It's going to drive me insane.
It is going to drive me insane, but, we need another...
I'm pretty sure I said Deborah.
I'm pretty sure you didn't say Deborah.
I'm pretty sure I did.
I edited that episode.
No, I'm pretty sure I did say it.
I'm pretty
Barbara.
sure you did.
I said Barbara.
I don't think it was Barbara either.
No, I think it was Barbara. It was something Ara.
Yeah, something along those lines. Anyway, it's gonna piss me off. Or it's gonna, like, bug me. So,
just, like, go back, cut that clip, and then
yeah.
edit it in, and then be like, okay, this is what we were saying.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like, yeah, clearly haunting brings the crowds in.
But yeah. Like, it's just something about...
Bridget! It was Bridget!
Oh my, you scared me.
Bridget! Sorry.
But like...
Bridget.
But like, it's just like people be like, oh, ghosts aren't real, and then like somebody has a haunted house, and they're like, I want to go see it! I want to go see it! It's the same thing with like Zach Bane's Haunted Museum, where it's like, it creeps people out, but they still want to go see it. And I think that's just like something weird about humans, is that like, shit scares us, but we want to see it.
Yeah, it's like when people insult Robert the doll.
Yeah, that's just pushing your luck.
Yeah, that's just being a dumbass.
That's just asking to get haunted.
Yeah. The media drummed the story up significantly, and
that
even
doesn't surprise me.
created tales of the walls dripping blood, a hole into hell in the basement, and snowblowers driving themselves clearing off the driveway.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, it's like the Perron family, how they had like the sleeping ghost. Yeah, it's very kind of them. One reported visitor was a drunk man holding a Bible, intent on holding an exorcism in the house. And
at least he wanted to try.
Yeah, he was just very drunk.
Are we? Are not we? Huh?
Sure. in the April 1988 edition of the Quill, Barrett J. Brunsman wrote, "Ghost rumors had swept through the crowd at the Friday night basketball game at the local high school. Hundreds of cars swept down Larby Street, past the Tallman home. People walked through the yards of the other 9 houses on the block, climbing over fences, peering into windows."
Could you imagine being like a neighbor to this house? You'd be like first you'd be like, oh, they're back at it again. The garage is on fire. And then like 2 months later, you get this shit, and you're like,
sakes. Yeah, it was like a really quiet neighborhood before too.
Have you ever thought about what is it like to be the neighbor of a haunted house? You come over with a lasagna to like greet the neighbors, and you're like, hope you stay here a while. The last ones didn't, and like you're all anonymous and shit, but you really just want them to leave because you don't want to deal with the bullshit again.
I once wrote this story in high school called Number 664, which was about the neighbor to Satan. Like it was Satan's neighbor. I don't remember what happened, but I just remember it was called Number 665. No, 664, sorry.
So, was Satan in 665 or 666?
666. 66666.
6666666.
I still do my quote. Drunks showed up. They weren't afraid of no ghosts. They tried the doors and windows of the Tallman.
I see that. Did that movie like just come out?
It was in 1888, yeah.
Yeah, so they were all just
They weren't afraid of no ghosts.
Yeah, so it's like, hey guys, go check out this movie that's coming out. Oh, hey, by the way, look at this haunted house.
Yee! So they tried the doors and windows of the Tallman home, intent on getting inside to prove their bravery. When the police ordered the drunks and gawkers to stay away from the house, a few would-be Ghostbusters told the cops to go to hell. Arrests for disorderly conduct were made and the streets were barricaded.
Holy shit.
After this, the family reportedly destroyed the bunk beds, burying them in a landfill, and moved away from Horicon to Beaver Dam, where they did not experience any further paranormal activity. And the tenants who owned the house since cited no further experiences.
Interesting.
Yeah.
In that case, it does sound like...
It could have been the bunk beds.
Yeah.
Several newspapers tried to get a hold of the Tallmans for the first-hand account, including the National Enquirer, who the Tallmans turned down. They did, however, sell their story to Mr. Michael Norman from River Falls, author of Haunted America, and the previously mentioned Unsolved Mysteries, under the request that their children's names be changed and their faces, like, blurred and censored during interviews.
Yeah, that's valid.
Yeah. So, a lot of people believe that it was the bunk beds, which were haunted.
Yeah.
As the activity increased when they were bought and only stopped when they were destroyed. I saw several comments on Haley Reese's video that I mentioned that theorized that the bunk beds were made from wood from a tree used in the hanging of a witch. But that sounds very far-fetched.
That does sound very far-fetched.
It sounded, also, like, one of them was said, like a tree from which a witch was lynched. And I was like, I don't like the term lynched.
Yeah, that's a racially charged term.
Yeah.
But also just as, like, there are certain trees that have historical significance. Like, if it was hanging, then that would have been written down somewhere, and someone would have been like, oh, that's a hanging tree, we should probably leave that tree be. Because a lot of those kind of trees are still around today, right? So it's kind of like, probably what most likely happened, if you want to go with the haunted object theory, is that something happened
from the first owners, I think.
Yeah, from the like something happened on those beds, or something, or like someone used those beds and was attached to that, whatever, or or those beds were in a house where something happened. It doesn't necessarily. I think at that point, it just sounds like you're trying to make like a horror movie, and it's just like, let's be reasonable here. And like probably something happening in the house is probably a lot more terrifying than a tree, right? And like. Or like,
I just thought it was a far-fetched comment, and I just saw that theory mentioned a couple times, and I was just kind of like...
Yeah, or it's like something happening in those beds is a lot more horrifying than,
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
Because there's a...
Let's
stay away from that.
Let's stay away from that.
Jesus, take the wheel.
A year after the Tallman haunting, a gas company did do repairs on several homes in the area.
Oh, was it carbon monoxide?
However, the Larby house was not one of them.
Oh.
It was natural gas. So a few people have theorized that it could have been natural gas-induced hallucinations, but like I said, it wasn't.
Because he did experience hallucinations, so he would start thinking like, okay, maybe it is carbon monoxide.
Yeah, and they were sick a lot, right?
Yeah. But if the other family was never sick, then that probably rules that out.
Yeah.
Because carbon monoxide does not pick and choose who to get sick.
Plus, like, the nephew and, like, the sitters, they all, and the mother, they all saw the same figure. And I don't think that really happens with hallucinations. You don't see the same figure over and over again.
No, but then again, with that story that I did talk about, which was carbon monoxide poisoning, they all heard similar sounds.
Fair, but that's not an apparition.
Good point.
Yeah. So now, one reason why I've noticed a lot of people tend to believe the story is because the Tallmans hid from the press rather than embracing it.
Right.
They were hell-bent on protecting their children and reportedly did not want to make any money off of their children's trauma.
Yeah.
Which I think is very interesting. So we didn't actually... Like, okay. When we did the story of the haunting of Connecticut, that mother was, like... She was pushing it. We see, like, a lot of that happening in, like, poltergeist cases.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like, the Enfield poltergeist.
Yeah.
We haven't covered this, but like the Smurl family, the Amityville horror, all of it has a lot of media attention, and a lot of people make money off of these things, which is why a lot of people are like, oh, this is a hoax, this is just a money grab.
Yeah.
But the Tallmans didn't do that, which is very interesting that that's become a rarity in cases like this.
It makes it sound more genuine, whereas the other ones don't sound genuine. Because what makes this one different is that it doesn't sound exaggerated or doesn't have horror movie qualities about it, whereas the other ones did.
Yeah.
And you even heard that with the press being like, oh, there's blood dripping on the walls. It's like, no. That doesn't happen. If it does, that might actually be Satan.
Yeah.
It just makes it sound like, for me, I'd be more likely to believe this story over someone being like, my bathtub is full of blood! You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is maybe why we don't see as many genuine horror cases anymore. Some
Probably
genuine
because,
horror cases.
Probably because the genuine ones aren't exciting.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
So it's like, the genuine cases are more of like people thinking they see something but they aren't quite sure what it is, or they hear
like, I mean, if you
something,
take like investigators like BuzzFeed Unsolved and Ghost Adventures, a lot of their nights are just like asking questions until they get something.
Yeah.
Ghost hunting is not a very like exciting thing to do. It's not
exciting. It's literally just sitting in the dark being like, yo,
what's up, homies?
You want a burrito?
Yeah. Do you want to tickle my little toesies?
Ew.
Have you seen that episode of Ghost Adventures? How would you like to tickle toes? Would you like to tickle my big old toe?
There have been so many things that they've said that just makes me want to like not watch the show. I haven't honestly watched the show in months. I need to do a huge Ghost Adventures marathon. But
I thought this was going to be a really short episode, but it's 52 minutes long as of right now.
But it's just kind of like, I think like actual genuine paranormal cases are not exciting, and the ones that are exciting are probably a hoax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I got for you. What do you think? Do you think this was a haunted house? Do you think it was a cursed object? Or do you think this was a genuine case of haunting?
I think that this was probably something to do... I'm going to go with the beds on this one.
Yeah.
Just because...
like the stuff that
started with it. Because like the stuff beforehand could just be written off as like it's flu season.
Yeah. And like there's just...
And when you have a lot of kids, parents get sick too. Parents get stressed.
Mm-hmm.
So Yeah, I think this is probably a case of cursed objects. Just in general, don't buy the things that I listed from thrift stores, and that's underwear, including bras, because skin, hats, bedding in general, mattresses, and furniture.
Fair.
Because it's either got ghosts or it's got lice.
I got this from a thrift store. I think this one's pretty cursed.
Okay, but yeah, no, you can get, like, salt shakers that look like country girl dildos.
I have a corn-themed salt and pepper shaker that my friend got for me from the thrift store for my birthday.
It's like, those things are cute and kitschy.
Those things are fun.
Like, some things are just, you're asking for it.
Yeah. So would you share a Bellini with this entity, the dream girl, the long flowing black hair, the old woman with fiery eyes?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, hell yeah.
I mean, when you describe it like that,
yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
She's probably gonna call me a bitch, but yeah.
Well, I mean, we both talked about how, like, we would literally want Brooklyn Heights to walk all over us and spit on us and tell us that we're shit. And
is that not what most people want?
That's true. That is very fair. So yeah, that's what we got today. Support us on Ko-fi. Just a reminder that we're taking that hiatus. I think our last episode is going to come out in early June. And then I'm going to be personally back from abroad at the end of July. So we might see an episode come out sometime in early August. Just to give you guys kind of like updated on that. We're not leaving the show. We really love doing this show. Yeah. It's always a riot.
Yeah, Molly's just going away, leaving me here.
Yeah. I am going to London though, so I promise to take a picture in front of 50 Berkeley Square.
Yeah.
T-posing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what the octopus man is like.
Oh, thank God.
You're so
Tell
welcome.
him that I say hi.
Okay,
and that he's doing a great job.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Just flopping around. Just
Victorian era hentai.
That's what Victorian era hentai sounds like.
Bye!
Bye!
Thank you so much for tuning in this week, and we hope that you enjoyed the episode. This episode features the voices of Molly Lorette and Ashley Smith. Our theme music was composed and produced by Larry Lorette. Our cover image was designed by Ashley Smith, and sound editing was done by Molly Lorette. Have any comments, concerns, or cases you want us to cover? Email us at demonsandbellinis@gmail.com. You can also find us at Demons and Bellinis on Tumblr, Demons and Bellinis on Instagram, and at DBellinis on Twitter. That's capital D and capital B. You'll also be able to find case pictures tweeted out there and posted to our Instagram. Also, make sure that if you like what we do here, drop us a donation at Ko-fi, which you can find through our Twitter. Thanks again, and we hope that you keep your ears open.